Two people apply for the same job, same degree, same experience, same interview answers, almost word for word. One gets hired, one gets a polite email 3 days later. You've watched this happen. Maybe it happened to you. And the easiest explanation is the one everyone reaches for first. The winner was simply better. But what if that's not true? What if something else, something almost invisible, had already decided the outcome before either of them walked into the room? Picture a coin. Flip it once, and you get heads or tails, 50-50. No memory of what came before. Now imagine a different kind of coin. One where every time it lands on heads, it becomes slightly more likely to land on heads again. Flip it 1,000 times and you won't get an even split. You'll get long, dramatic streaks. Not because the coin got better at landing on heads. Because small, early advantages compounded. This is not a coin. This is how careers, companies, and cities actually grow. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. In the 1960s, a sociologist named Robert Merton noticed something strange happening in science. Two researchers could make the exact same discovery, publish it around the same time, and only one of them would get remembered. The one who was already famous got more credit, more funding, more attention, simply for being already famous. Merton called it the Matthew effect, named after a line in the Bible about the rich getting richer. But he wasn't talking about money. He was talking about recognition, about opportunity, about the strange fact that success doesn't just reward ability, it rewards existing success. Why would a discovery matter less depending on who found it first? Here's where it gets uncomfortable. In 2018, a group of Italian physicists ran a simulation. They built a virtual population of people with randomly distributed talent, most of them clustered around average. A few brilliant, a few not so brilliant, just like real life. Then they exposed each person to random lucky and unlucky events across a simulated working life. Promotions that came from nowhere, setbacks that came from nowhere. And when they tracked who ended up wealthiest, the most successful people were almost never the most talented. They were the moderately talented people who happened to catch the most lucky breaks. Talent set a ceiling. Luck decided who got close to it. Does that unsettle you a little? It should, because it means the story we tell about hard work and merit is only half the picture. Now think about how you actually got your last job, or met your closest friend, or discovered the thing you're most passionate about. Trace it backward. You'll almost never land on a straight line. You'll land on a chain of small accidents. A person you met at a party you almost didn't go to. A message you happened to see before it got buried. In the 1970s, a sociologist named Mark Granovetter studied exactly this. He asked hundreds of people how they found their jobs and discovered something counterintuitive. It was rarely their close friends who helped. It was distant acquaintances, people they barely knew. He called it the strength of weak ties. Your best friends already know what you know, move in the same circles you move in. But the person you met once, briefly, at a conference 2 years ago, they live in a completely different network of information. And information, it turns out, travels through the edges of your life, not the center of it. So if opportunity moves through weak ties, and weak ties are mostly a matter of who you randomly cross paths with, then a huge portion of your future is being shaped by rooms you haven't entered yet, conversations you haven't had yet. That should feel unsettling. But stay with it because there's a twist coming. In the late 1990s, a physicist named Albert Laszlo Barabasi was mapping the structure of the internet, trying to understand how websites link to one another. He expected something close to random. He found something else entirely. A small number of pages accumulated an overwhelming share of all the links, while the vast majority received almost none. He called this preferential attachment. New connections don't distribute evenly, they flow disproportionately toward things that already have connections. The rich, once again, get richer. And this isn't just true of websites, it's true of cities, where certain neighborhoods keep attracting more businesses simply because businesses are already there. It's true of research citations, where a paper that gets cited once is far more likely to get cited again. It's true even of you. Every opportunity you've ever received made the next opportunity slightly more likely. Every opportunity you missed made the next miss slightly more likely too. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If luck compounds, does that mean effort doesn't matter? Not exactly. And this is the part almost nobody gets right. In the 1990s, a psychologist named Richard Wiseman ran an unusual experiment. He recruited hundreds of people who described themselves as consistently lucky and hundreds who described themselves as consistently unlucky, and gave all of them the same simple task: flip through a newspaper and count the number of photographs inside. The unlucky group took, on average, far longer. Buried on the second page of that newspaper in enormous letters was a message: stop counting. There are 43 photographs in this newspaper. The lucky people tended to notice it almost immediately. The unlucky people, laser focused on the assigned task, missed it entirely. Wiseman's conclusion wasn't that lucky people had some mystical advantage. It was that they were more open, more relaxed, more likely to notice opportunities that had nothing to do with what they were originally looking for. Unlucky people weren't cursed. They were narrowly focused, and narrow focus, it turns out, filters out almost everything unplanned. Have you ever been so fixated on one goal that you walked straight past something better? This changes the shape of the whole story. Luck isn't just something that happens to you, some of it is something you're positioned to receive. The scientist Louis Pasteur said something similar almost 200 years ago about chance favoring the prepared mind, though he was talking about laboratories, not job interviews. The people who seem to get lucky again and again aren't manipulating probability. They're widening their surface area, meeting more people, saying yes to more strange detours, staying loose enough to notice the accidental page with 43 photographs on it. Meanwhile, the people convinced that hard work alone will save them often narrow their focus so tightly that the accidental opportunity walks right past them unnoticed. So here is the uneasy compromise buried in all this research. Talent matters, but mostly as a floor, a baseline that keeps you in the game. Effort matters, but mostly as a way of staying ready when a break arrives. And luck, the thing nobody wants to admit, runs the show. Decides an enormous amount of who actually rises, not because the universe is cruel or fair, because success behaves like that compounding coin. Small early advantages snowball. Weak ties open doors that close friendships never could. And the width of your attention decides how many accidental doors you even notice standing open. Which brings us back to those two job applicants. The one who got hired almost certainly wasn't more qualified in any way you could measure on paper. She was the one whose old college roommate happened to mention the opening in a group chat 2 days before it was posted publicly. A weak tie. An accident of network structure, not merit. The one who didn't get hired did nothing wrong. He was simply standing in a slightly different, slightly less connected part of the invisible web that opportunity travels through. Does that mean effort is pointless? No. It means effort is necessary but not sufficient. A ticket that gets you into the room, not a guarantee that the room will notice you. What actually separates people over a lifetime isn't raw talent, and it isn't even raw luck. It's how wide you keep the door, how many weak ties you maintain instead of only nurturing the close ones, how willing you are to say yes to the strange, uncertain, off-topic detour instead of staring so hard at your one goal that you miss the newspaper page telling you the answer was right in front of you the whole time. So think again about that coin, the one that gets more likely to land on heads every time it already has. You didn't choose the first flip. Nobody does. But you get to choose every single day how wide you hold your hands when the next one comes down. And that, more than talent, more than hustle, more than any resume line you'll ever write, is the hidden rule that actually decides who gets lucky. 2 people applied for that job. Same degree, same experience, same interview answers. But only one of them had, without even realizing it, kept her hands open just a little wider.